Warning: the following content contains language that may be inappropriate for younger viewers. Viewer discretion is strongly advised.
Welcome to the Let's Get Heavy podcast, your exclusive backstage pass to the realm of heavy music. Join us as we engage in conversations with amazing bands and emerging talents who are making waves in the scene. This episode we are diving into the world of Newcastle local lads known as Hassium to discuss the band's roots and inspirations. So let's get heavy. Guys, I want to welcome you to Let's Get Heavy, which is where we like to highlight bands and try and spread a little bit of positivity throughout the metalverse. Now, by the looks of it, we are one man short. Right, where's one of them? Where's
Chris, you just can't make it. He's at work. We work shifts.
Right, fair enough. That's fair enough, totally understandable. So, I know of Colin, because that's the gentleman I've been chatting with the most. But who are the other two gentlemen?
I'm Dave.
My name's Craig.
Nice to meet you, Dave and Craig. And what are all your roles within the band? We'll start off with yourself, Colin.
I am the drummer of the band.
The drummer, Dave.
Bass, and I do about half the vocals.
And Craig.
I guess you would say I'm the rhythm guitarist, but I play a couple of leads here and there. But
No
I would say
worries.
I'm the rhythm guitarist.
And our friend who's missing, I'm assuming vocals.
Chris.
Chris,
And guitar.
Yeah.
Cool, sweet. Well, it's nice to meet us. And let's first of all, let's get the name correct, because as one of you will know, when I was on a live stream, I completely fucking butchered the name. So please enlighten me.
What did you call it?
I cannot remember off the top of my head, but I know it's Hassium.
It's just Hassium, isn't it?
It's Hassium.
Hassium.
Hassium. I think I pronounced it wrong on a live stream,
Right.
but I'm absolutely terrible at pronouncing names. I've got no shame in it. I tell everyone. But aye. So what's the story behind the name Hassium anyway?
Well, couldn't think of a name, so I googled volatile metals and elements, and Hassium had a good sound to it, so we kind of rolled with that.
It was going to be Headshot, wasn't it? Remember you came up with Headshot? And there was about 20 hardcore bands called Headshot.
Yeah, there was.
Remember that?
It was a bit cliche. Yeah.
And then there was a singer, and we're going to be Barry and the Death Humans. Remember him?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
Barry.
Yeah.
Barry and the Death Humans, which was a laugh. I think that lasted about 20 minutes, and then Hassium. And I think we got there quite quickly, didn't we, Hassium?
I think we just found it, and it was like, it sounds good. It's short and sweet, quite snappy. Yeah.
But it turns out that I think there's a rapper called Hassium. So that's why if you go on Spotify, we'll have Hassium.
Like,
Yeah.
aye.
It's official, though. He is a Hassium, we are the Hassium, so it's fine.
Right. That's fair enough. I'm assuming it's taken from the periodic table. Is that correct?
It's the heaviest metal element.
The heaviest metal element.
Did you get it?
I do. Certainly do. I certainly do. Volatile. If I'm correctly doing it. The volatile element.
It's unstable. Radioactive and just generally unstable. A bit like us.
I was just about to say, does that follow with the band as well? Is that why it worked so well?
A little bit high.
Excellent. So, how did the band form? As we've already just discussed on what was the inspiration behind Hassium. So, yeah, how did the band form?
So, do you want me to answer this?
Go for it.
Ahead,
So, Colin and I were in another band previously with Chris, just sort of like doing covers and like crowd pleasers and stuff, like not very heavy stuff. And we had different tastes, so it was only a matter of time before the band just kind of, wasn't really working. We were wanting to move in different directions. So the three of us decided we'll set up, a metal band. So Chris reached out for another guitarist. Craig answered. We met up. We had one jam together, and we just clicked straight away. We did also have a dedicated singer, but ultimately that wasn't really sort of going to be part of it. So yeah, we started off. We didn't really have a clear idea of where we wanted to go or what we were going to do, so we just started with covering a few songs that we knew, some bands that we loved and sort of had inspired us and stuff. But then over time we started writing our own stuff, and so we've dropped more of the covers from the set, not all, but sort of gradually doing fewer covers and more original stuff.
When he says we jammed the first time, what he means is we played For Whom the Bell Tolls about 27 times.
Yeah.
What else do you know? What else?
That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
I think it was about the only song that all four of us knew, or five of us.
It is true that 4 years ago we were playing Guns. We used to play Guns N' Roses. We even played a bit of Therapy, didn't we? Remember that?
Oh, I
Scream Major by Therapy. We just play whatever everybody knew. It's typical. I think every band's probably the same, aren't they? Then we had one original. The first gig we played, it was covers with one original. And then I think the second gig we played, it was covers with 2 originals or 3 originals.
The thing is, though, the originals weren't really a plan at first. We just made some noise.
Yeah.
And the noise made sense. And then from the noise came words. And then the words became a song. And then it was like, actually, we quite like this.
Mm-hmm.
It just happened. The first song happened by mistake. It was just a random riff you started playing. And we were all like, I like that.
We'd all had stuff written down for years. The first ever song we did was, I think it was a riff I had kicking around. And then I think the chorus is the other guitarist, Chris. I think he'd had that riff for like 30 years.
Oh, wow.
He wrote that riff. Honestly, I think he wrote that riff in the 90s and just never did anything with it. And he'd been looking to use it. And he put it in there.
Just giving them the prime opportunity to use it. Then.
Yeah.
So the band's still fairly young, forming this year. Is that correct? All right in that? Or was it earlier?
Wait, it was pre-COVID.
Pre-COVID.
2018?
Pre-COVID, then we shut down. It's only been going like as proper Hassium for, I would say, maybe since COVID. You know what I mean?
Post-COVID, yeah.
We were 21, 22?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, so
2 years.
we were just sort of messing about a bit before then, and it was a bit stop-start as well, because Barry, who was the singer at the time, he had a lot on with work, and he was doing some stuff through the OU, so that combined workload, and there were a couple of times where he basically went, oh, fella, sorry, I don't have time, and then we didn't see him for like 6 months. I work for a company which is based down in Suffolk, so there were a couple of times I moved down there for like 6-8 weeks at a time, so it was kind of on pause with that and stuff like that. That was kind of the first like 3 years, really, wasn't it? It was very stop-start.
Times in the studio, you used to drive up from Cambridge on a Thursday night. We'd be in the studio at Doncaster, he'd turn up in a suit. Because he'd literally get out of his car about half an hour, he'd be saying, I'm at York, and I'll say, he's late, he's on his way up, and then he would turn up and he's in a suit.
Aye.
Nice.
Normally late, but
I was always late.
Normal,
It was always late.
Bass players normally are late, though, aren't they?
Right.
Oh, is that a thing? Oh, that's fine. That's my excuse.
Well, that's what I get told anyway.
Right,
From bands who I've normally interviewed, they normally say, I normally play them basses, or they just bully them.
surprises, yeah.
We did expect him about 20 past 3.
It's only because they told us it was like 4 o'clock this afternoon.
Not yesterday.
So I got here at 6:30.
Shocking, lads. Absolutely shocking. So, obviously, yourself, Colin and Dave, you were in a band previously. How did you then discover Craig?
So that was when we wanted to form a sort of 4-piece or 5-piece metal band. What happened? Chris?
I was bored. I put an advert on what's the website? The Join My Band website. Just saying, look, never really played before. I'd never been in a band. Just looking to arse about basically. And then Chris had put an advert on saying, basically looking for somebody to play Anthrax, Megadeth, all that kind of 90s thrash stuff. No commitment, just basically jamming, having a bit of a laugh. And I thought, I'll have that. Had a bit of a chat with him. And then we met up. Never been more nervous. I'd never even played in the rehearsal studio really. I mean, I've had a bit of a tinkle around in the 90s, but I hadn't really done much. And then that was it. And then it went from there. So it was within the space of a couple of weeks, just an advert, a couple of replies via the website, the format it's on, where you can leave a reply and then somebody replies and all that kind of thing. And that was it.
Yeah. I'd imagine when you started playing, all the nerves shifted, chemistry, bang, and here we are
Oh,
now.
it was a good laugh. It was a good laugh. It was a good laugh, but I mean, it was odd in the beginning. I mean, I don't know how many gigs you played, but I'd never. The gig we played at Newcastle was the first time I'd played live.
I remember. I'd not played loads.
But actually, Chris was in a band. Chris was in a band. He's done like he wasn't in a metal band, but he's done the whole cruise ship stuff.
Mm.
He's been like a gigging musician, doing all like he used to play Butlins and all that kind of stuff back in the 90s, playing ABBA and stuff. You know,
So we're like,
you know,
polar opposites, really.
he's done all that.
I remember the first time we played a gig, and I don't think I've ever seen Craig so quiet. It was just the nerves. And I forgot it's been that. Sorry.
I was just about to ask, how was that very first ever show for you?
It was all right.
I think all 13 people who were there enjoyed it.
Yeah. It was at a it was there that many there?
No.
It was like a day festival kind of thing, and with it being my first gig, we were on first. So I think 12 of the 13 people in the audience were like our friends and family.
Yeah. You put one first at Downcast at 3:00 on a Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
So we were like the warm up for the sound man, basically, when we played some songs and then.
But it was all right.
We'd never been heard, though, have we?
Hmm?
Like we weren't known. We just
No,
a
no.
band that played there once a week.
Yeah.
And
The best bit of it though was there was a load of people. Do you know Downcast?
Well, mate, we wouldn't get Heavy Fest from there, so.
Right. The picnic tables around the front. I remember halfway through the set, a load of people came through because they'd heard it and they heard we sounded all right. So remember, people started to come round. So I think we started off playing at 10, then we finished off playing at like 25 or 30 or something like that end of the set. So I was chuffed with that.
I remember one of the lads who was in like the second or third band in the lineup, a guy called Den. He was the drummer for. He's left now. Needless. He walked past after our set and he did say like, oh, you know, it was really good. So yeah, I think, you know, it went pretty well.
it was just a test of waters, I think, because we hadn't gigged as a unit before. We'd played, got songs put together, we got a set together, and it was like, do you know what? Let's just do something with it.
Yeah, smash it.
Just play in front of a crowd, whether it be 10 people or 10,000, doesn't matter. Just get those demons out of the way, play our first gig, get a knock on the head, and then just build from there.
I've always said, regardless
Went really well.
how many people turn up, you could just be playing in front of the other bands. To be fair, all it takes is you just need to make an impression on one person, and they take that away, and then they'll pass it to their mates, and so on and so on and so on. Do you know what I mean? There you go, exactly. Exactly, mate. When I started doing all this and all the live stream and stuff like it was just me mum and a few friends.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? So
I loved it. I got the bug. I was flicking pics out at the end and everything. I was like, 15 people who are watching.
You pick 6 them off.
Yeah.
How long have you been doing this now?
me, 3 years. 3 years. I just started just doing Twitch, so just me doing live streams once a week, just playing like YouTube videos, just having a bit of a chat with people, and it's kind of moved on.
I subbed to your
that.
Twitch, so that it was me that heard you mispronounce Hassium. It was me.
Twitch, yes.
I subscribed. I'm the one.
Thank you very much.
It was a funny story for the second gig at the Little Buildings because we were third on the bill.
Mm-hmm.
Second on the bill with the Brothers of Destruction. Remember that?
Yeah.
There was a Brazilian punk band. The story we heard, we weren't in actual contact with it, but we got invited to play by the Brothers of Destruction. And then there was a punk band. I'm pretty sure they were Brazilians. They were the headliners, and there was a load of tickets sold. And then a couple of weeks before, something like that, I mean, it was a couple of years ago now.
Was it a customs thing or a passport thing?
Visa thing. The singer would be a bit of a naughty boy, didn't get a visa.
Tut.
So they cancelled, and then it left us. So it ended up with the Brothers of Destruction, his daughter's band.
Mm-hmm. Leviathan.
At the time they would have been probably 16 or something. I mean, if that.
Yeah.
So basically they got in touch with us and said, well, are you still all right to play? And we were like, yeah. So what happened though, he's left-handed. What happened, the drummer of the Brothers is right-handed, or the drummer that they had was right-handed.
Mm-hmm.
And what they didn't want to do, they didn't want to have, he was normal. The drummer was normal. So they didn't want to have a normal drummer, a disabled drummer, and then a normal drummer. Right? So
the change round twice.
I am sat here, you know what I mean? I am just sat.
So basically what we did, basically what it ended up with them saying, well, it's easier for you headline because then we haven't got to change the drums around every 5 minutes. We're only changing around once for you. So we were like, well, fine. So it ended up us going from playing to 15 people at Downcast to playing to...
Yeah, so the handle
full-
drummer got us to come on last of the bill, so
Yeah.
you're welcome.
Relatively, yeah.
Well done.
Through Colin's disability, we ended up
Probably
playing
50 people there.
Yeah.
Probably 50 people
Yeah,
there.
it was a good size, and it was indoors, and it was with deafened everybody. Because I don't know if you heard gigs at the Little. Oh, you were there at one of ours, man. The Little Bill was deafening.
Pass, mate. I've been to so many gigs, it's hard to keep up with. But I'll definitely be there this coming
I
Saturday.
just
though.
know it's the hottest place on
Yeah,
earth.
It's so hot.
It was good, and that was good. I think we surprised everybody because we'd made so much of a jump from a cover band who's playing to 15 people to actually on a stage in an indoor venue and absolutely blasting. I mean, I had a few mates there, and they were like, "Where the hell did that come?"
Exactly.
Yeah.
Was that your second show as well? Second show, and you had headlining.
Yeah,
So
second show.
If the nerves were bad on the first show, Craig, what were they like on the second?
Then I wasn't. I went into fucker mode. Honestly, I was. I don't know about you, but I was fine when you're there. You're there. I was more nervous before when I got there. I thought, just have a laugh.
So what was something I noticed? So like I said, like earlier, like the first gig, you were visibly nervous. When it got to the second one, I felt like you were just like, "Come on, let's go."
I was worried I was too charged up for that. I was going to make a mess of all the songs because I was too charged up. And then we played like Slayer because Colin's got a habit. We love him, but he's got a habit of playing. I mean, if you gave him Nothing Else Matters, he would play it at Slayer pace, like right. And
Oh God!
we've got it on video. The original we played, the middle section of Friendly Fire is basically grindcore when we play it. Like,
Oh, really? Is it on YouTube? I'll have to check it out.
It sounds like it sounds like it is on YouTube.
I think it is, aye.
He sounds like a sewing machine when he's playing. He's like this.
Yeah.
Didn't we play the Trooper in about 2.5 minutes?
We finished the song. We all gave each other a look to say he's off on one again, like a couple of bars in the Trooper. But you kind of,
Oh yeah.
it was at that point we said, well, we're just gonna have to play it, aren't we? And at the end of it, we all looked at him and we were like,
Thing is, though, if you listen to the original songs by the bands, like off the album, they just sound too slow. They sound too slow.
That is true.
One way to fix it.
You should start covering some Machine Head and make them songs a bit shorter. I think you can a Machine Head gig now. You'll hear like 4 songs, and then that's the end of the gig.
Right. So then we played again. We played earlier this year, didn't we? Remember April or something? We played the Little Buildings again with the Brothers of Destruction. So we headlined that, but that was basically all originals with 2 covers.
Yeah.
Madhouse by Anthrax that time, didn't we? Madhouse.
Seal the Deal.
Seal the Deal by Volbeat. Madhouse by Anthrax, and then we played that Metallica medley that we always played. And but it was all originals, and everybody was, again, the people who'd been there were surprised because they'd only heard us play 2 originals. They kind of, in a way, talking originals, but this was a set of originals. So it's nice that everyone who's seen us so far seem like kind of
The progression.
Yeah, like a progression. Yeah.
So the bands that you've literally just mentioned there, would you say those are the main inspiration behind Hassium?
They're the origin of it.
I think we're all a bit different. I mean, I'm Metallica all the way to the bones. Metallica, Slayer, Megadeth, all that kind of stuff. What I play.
Yeah.
You're not the way.
No, I'm more metalcore, so I'm a bit younger than you.
Yeah, he's a bit.
So I'm like a Bullet, Trivium.
Hang on. If you don't mind asking, how old are you, Colin?
36.
Right, so I'm 2 years older than you, and I've got the same taste as Craig.
Right.
Don't get us wrong, I do. I was just saying before, like, I'll know individual songs by like Megadeth, Metallica, Anthrax, and Slayer, but I wouldn't be able to tell you what album they're off.
I will.
So there is songs I'll know what they are.
Right.
I name the album, but my time for music was Trivium, Bullet, Avenged Sevenfold, that kind of early 2000s kind of stuff. That's more my genre.
Right, I hear you.
I'd never really heard them until we started the band. I mean, like even like
Oh yeah, I remember you had
5 Big Death Punches and all that. I've never even
in all fairness, Metallica's albums do sound a bit like some Avenged Sevenfold and Trivium, so they all have their influences.
Yeah.
But that's kind of my era.
You're probably you're possibly the softer influences, aren't you?
So I'm a bit more mixed.
Yeah.
So I like sort of in terms of Megadeth, early Metallica, Maiden is kind of like heavier influences.
Maiden, is it? I don't know.
Well, yeah, I love a bit of Maiden, like. But then there's other stuff like I'm really into what
No.
like sort of what's the like pre-modern stuff like classical music and stuff like that.
Symphonic metal kind of stuff.
Well, not just sort of from a metal point of view, but just actual like classical and romantic era stuff. Like a bit of Tchaikovsky and Beethoven, Mozart, stuff like that. I did GCSE music and I got really into stuff like that. Honestly, so we're very different in that respect.
You've got to love them.
But yeah, and then obviously, I mean, those are sort of very different styles of music, and there's a bunch of things in between. So that's what I mean. And I'm sort of mine is a lot more mixed in terms of the inspiration that I take.
There's an age gap in the band because basically Chris, who's not here, and myself are sort of late end of our 40s. And then these two are sort of late end of the 30s.
Oh,
So
yeah.
there's mid-30s. Okay, mid-30s.
Come on.
So there's kind of two here and two there in terms of age, if you know what I mean.
I'd say I was kind of brought up on the same sort of style as yourself, Craig, through my dad and stuff like that. Brought up on like early Anthrax and that, you know, that Fistful of Metal album and shit like that. That was my kind of, and Iron Maiden, of course, but I always just identified with the thrash side more than anything. And I'm the same as Colin for the metalcore and stuff like that, but I would always go back to thrash. There was just I just love riffs, fucking guitar solos. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just always so thrash for me all the way.
I mean, in the 90s, I was in there. I think the band I've seen more than anybody's probably Napalm Death. I was into grindcore, you know, all the earache records, early 90s stuff like the Carcass and Napalm Death. That was my stuff. But obviously, we're not going to play that. Not yet.
Not yet. Give it time. Give it time. One day.
Ah.
So how would
There's always been a bit of a punk influence in the band, hasn't it?
True.
A lot of the stuff I write, like Psychosomatic,
Psychosomatic's very punky, isn't it?
It's just punk, isn't it? Yeah.
So how would you describe your musical style?
I mean, in terms of genre, or
Well, yeah.
I'd say we're primarily thrash, but there are definitely bits of others. Like for
Thrash.
example, you give some are.
Punk. Yeah.
I mean, obviously thrash is quite punky anyway, but some I would say are kind of more punky.
I think if you listen to the album, there's going through the 7 songs. The first one's thrash, clearly thrash.
Yeah.
The second one's punk. Psychosomatic punk. Third one we were just chatting earlier on sounds like Megadeth in that poppy era, sort of cryptic writings era Megadeth. You know, a bit. It's got a riff, now, you know. And then the fourth one is more like it's something like shoegazy sort of.
It's quite different, isn't
Almost
it?
kind of gothy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. The fifth one, 27, is like just a thrash.
It's more thrashy,
Yeah, thrash.
And the others, I'd say.
The sixth song is heavy thrash.
Oh, what?
Twisted Fate.
Yeah,
That's
it's
pretty
thrashy.
full,
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the sixth one, the seventh one's probably more like a classic metal.
Is it ballady? Has it got a bit of a ballad to it?
No, Death Conversion. No, I think it's more classic metal. I mean, it sounds more like, I don't know.
I know what you mean.
I'll be the drums. I have no idea.
It would average out more like sort of thrash kind of punk stuff like that. The new stuff on Lighton's heavier.
Right.
One of the ideas we're already getting stuff together for the second album. What we want to do on the second album is attempt to not replicate the first one. I mean, it'd be dead easy to just write another 7 songs. There's another 7 songs. What we're trying to do is do something different. I know everybody says that, but we're trying to do something different. So experiment with different tunings. You know, we're tuning down, writing stuff that's heavier, so drop C tuning because it just
different time signatures as well.
Different time signatures.
Like 5/4 and 7 stuff.
Poor drummer. Yeah. the M. It's not our problem, is it? It's not our problem. No,
All they're doing is just trying to piss me off because all these different time signatures. It's not easy.
You play 19/4, man. That's easy.
Oh, give over.
Just remember, Colin, you can be replaced by a space bar these days.
Take a good thrust.
Yeah. No, but the new stuff's probably drop C tune and it's reasonably unusual timings. You know, we're not going to turn it into Tool or anything like that. But it's a bit more. I think our confidence is a bit higher as well.
Definitely.
The first album was stuff that had been around for years on my laptop, his laptop, you know, type thing. I think we've got a lot of more lot more confidence in my ability now to play stuff.
Originality as well. We're starting to delve into our style, and
we just get a bit bored as well. We're in the studio jam and stuff, and we're like, we've played that before.
I hear you.
So it's
Like to mix it up, sort of thing.
Yeah, just I mean, we don't want to go over the top and turn it into Sonic Youth and end up with 7 guitars on stage, different tunes and that. But it'll be heavier. It'll be heavier and it'll be down tuned, and I think it'll be a bit more maybe experimental, a bit more. Yeah, a little bit.
So, yeah. With all the inspirations and the genres and the etc. that you've just mentioned there, how do you balance the heavier elements of metal with more melodic and atmospheric passages in your music?
That's what people trying to do.
I tell you how the dynamic works, and you lot tell us if you think you disagree. Like, I'll get into a groove with Collins, right? I'm a rhythm fan. I'm like your Malcolm. I'm not going to write a melody. I'm not a guy who's going to write a melody. So I'll have a riff. I'll be jamming with him. It'll sound okay. We'll be sitting there thinking that sounds all right. And then Chris will come in. He's got a lot of musical knowledge. So Chris will come in and say, "Oh, your riff's in the diminished fifth or something." I'll give him a blank look saying, "I have no idea what you're on about." So he'll change a little bit, and then it always ends up with Dave coming in.
Aye.
Dave's like your field guy, I think, who comes in and says, it could be better if we did this. And I think a lot of the songs we've had have been 90% there, and we've been going, that's a bit shit. And then you've come in and said,
Aye.
if you play that 3 times instead of 4 times, I'll add this.
Yeah, that's a bit too long, that's a bit too short,
Yeah.
that's a bit too abrupt, or that's not abrupt enough.
Yeah.
Put this in, change that there.
Yeah.
And that's like the finishing touches.
Yeah.
So basically we're kind of, although we have a lot in common, we'll have our differences as well, in our influences and in our strengths, like you're describing, like the stuff you'll come up with and then like what Chris will do. So we're basically just kind of, we just kind of fit together our different little bits.
It just ends up there. We had a song which we wrote well over 2 years ago, and we worked on it. And it was originally Chris's idea. And honestly, week after week, we're banging away on this idea. We just thought, that's just a pile of shite. It's not a song. We couldn't. It was nice. The beginning was nice, and we just couldn't get an ending. And we just gave up. And then we came back a year later, and just an ending just came out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was there.
Dark Mirror.
It happened, didn't it? It was like on the shelf for a year. Something like that. And then
so I think what we basically do is we kind of put together what we can, and then it's a case of taking a step back and then kind of looking at having a more holistic view of what we've kind of built so far, and just working out what's missing.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I hear.
There's been some good accidents as well, because the Twisted Fate bit was, remember when you played that bit wrong?
Oh, yeah.
And we said that sounds...
I was
Did I play it wrong? I did just play it
that was
right
the best
by
mistake
mistake.
we made.
Come on, man.
We rehearsing and we're like, what's he done there?
So you played it wrong then?
You, but it sounds Irish.
We stopped the song and we're like, what the hell you done then? It sounded class, because it ended... The song started off like... If you want to use metallic analogy, something off like the Black Album, Kill 'Em All, then it went like into something off And Justice for All. We're like, hang on, that's got like a weird bit of time change put in, and it was accidental.
Thing is, though,
was,
I did it. We stopped. He went, what was that? I went, what was what? He went, that thing you did? I went, I don't know what you're talking about. He went,
I didn't play
that bit you did, I'm like, mate, but no idea. So I played it, that section, half a dozen times. I did it again. I'm like, oh, that bit.
Yeah.
All right.
And there was another one that when we were at the gig in April. So
Happy accident.
Written the song, and Colin kind of jumped ahead a bit, played a bit that he would normally play maybe like 4 bars later or something like that, or 8 bars later, but it actually sounded better. So after the set, I said, "Oh, mate, do you know what? Oh, yeah, I know I did that." And I was, no, do it. It's really good. So we kept it in.
So what they're saying is my influence in the band is I make mistakes that sound good. I think that's pretty much what we're getting to. Yeah.
Yeah. Mistakes.
That's absolutely brilliant. Keep making them mistakes for the good, then, Colin.
I can live with
that song that you started writing, it's basically like 19/4. The one that's like it's like 5/4. It's like 3 bars of 5/4 and then one.
The one you were last week.
That was unintended as well. Yeah. It sounded fucking brilliant.
So how it'll work
right.
is I'll be here. I'll record at Recamper, so I can put the the tracks on email straight off because it's all digital, right?
Right.
And then I put it on WhatsApp with them, and he came back and said, "Oh, that's an away tune." And I went, "No, it isn't. It's in
Time.
It's in 4/4. Yeah, oh, the timer.
Time not tune.
Yeah." And I said, "No, it's not. It's just in 4/4 because all I'd done was program the drums. They were 4/4 and played over it." And he came back and was like, "No, it is. Yes, it isn't this." And so he sends me a track with him basically counting over the top, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Say a fucking John, yes. And it was in 5/4 timing because I was playing like a syncopated rhythm over the top of the 4/4 drums, which put it into 5/4 time. But it was a complete accident. I mean, I'm more than happy to tell everyone I've written something in 5/4, but I didn't mean it.
It was deliberate.
As long as the drums stay in 4/4, I think it's a great idea, Craig.
Drums are in 4.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There you go, Walking already.
Like I say, happy accents, but if it works, who cares? If it works and sounds good, who cares? So you've got a debut album which was released this year, October, not long ago. Can you discuss the creative process behind this debut album?
Yeah,
the name of it, just self-titled, is that correct?
No,
it's number one.
Just one.
So there was a bit of not a debate. We discussed names, but nothing seemed to really sound right. And we put a few ideas on album covers and look at the way the words are set up and the fonts and stuff, and it just didn't seem to look right.
Aye.
And then I think the week before it came out, we just sat in there, either Downcast or the sound room. We just went, should we just call it one?
Aye. Basically, some of the names they sounded shit, or we were considering naming it after one of the tracks, and there was no one track we thought was appropriate, or something just sounded a bit silly or a bit pretentious or whatever, and so we just thought, let's just make it simple. It's album number one. Just call it one.
Fair enough.
I didn't want something cheesy and metal. You know, I didn't want at the gates of the that kind of stuff. That's not me. So as long as it wasn't that, I was happy with it.
That's fair enough, mate. That's absolutely fair enough.
The creative process, we recorded it. Took about three months, I think, didn't we? We recorded, went to, what's the studio called?
Sound Rooms.
In Gateshead and Bensham, used to be Bensham Library. Recorded, basically put the drums down and the bass, but then we replaced the bass, and then the rest of it was done in home offices, bedrooms, kitchens and all that, because we've got digital amps and stuff like that, so the rest of it was recorded there, and then we produced it at home. So it was all self-done, all self-recorded. I'm happy enough with it.
Yeah, all the mixing and
but it's got that kind of
mastering.
We didn't want it to sound overproduced, so it's got that kind of live sound. So when you listen to it, you know it's live and not overproduced.
Yeah,
and there are imperfections in it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I sometimes listen back to it, and at times I'll think, "Oh, my singing sounds good there," and then the other times I'll be like, "Ooh," but we didn't want to. That's just the way.
That's what you're going to get if you hear it live. That's what you're going to get.
I've recorded half my vocals one night, and I sounded good. Recorded the other half of my vocals another night, and I just wasn't quite right. But other than sort of trying again a couple of times, which I did to try to to get it better, that was it. We deliberately weren't going to just auto tune the fuck out of everything, because I think it's a bit dishonest. If I don't actually sound like that, but also, like Colin says,
you don't want to be Def Leppard, do you?
No, Colin says, we wanted this this raw live kind of sound.
It's what you hear if you come and see we live.
I wanted to have a authentic representation of what we are as a band. So, like Craig says, if you come and see us live, that's what you get. If you stream it on Spotify or whatever, that's what you get.
It's pretty much all one take. The rhythm guitars are all one take. They're not there's no sort of Pro Tools where we'll play one section and then 100 times and pick the best one. It's just one take. The drums are all the drums are one take. They're just him playing the song.
Yeah.
So it's actually what you're going to hear. It's not one of these bands. There's a lot of death metal bands in the 90s where I was reading a book a long time ago. The producer from
read a book.
Yeah, I believe it or not. Mars Sound Studios, the famous death metal the American studio, and the producer was saying a lot of the bands couldn't play the songs live because they were so triggered and so chopped up and recorded into bits. like especially the drummers couldn't actually physically play the songs live. It sounded fine on record, but then when they play live, it sounded rubbish. So everything you hear on record is him one take.
Wow.
So, I mean, they might not have been the first take, but it's all one take. They're not chopped up.
Yeah.
All I did was take the stem files and essentially drop their entire song in and then play over the top of it, and then he put the bass over the top of it. So it's all organic. It's not manufactured. It's not. There isn't any time triggers. We didn't play to a click track or anything like that. It's just.
Well, I can't.
It's just straight off.
That's another thing. Yeah, if you played a click track alongside any of our songs, you would find that there'd be a point where they would go out of time with each other because it's in
organic.
human time. Yeah, exactly. And it does drift, even if it drifts by 2 BPM. It drifts slightly through the song simply because
you found a section of it. You went through a section where you went, oh, that section's 11 seconds, but that section's 10.7 seconds.
I think
But like, just leave it.
I think it went from something like 160 BPM to like 155 BPM or something like that. So it is technically it is then.
The thing is, though, I was getting a bit knackered, so I thought I need an end it soon. Just get it done.
Yeah.
Bit knackered, mate. Get it done.
I'm looking forward to hearing it because, like I say, I'll be a gig on this coming Saturday at Downcast, so I'm looking forward to hearing it. So, what are the key themes and messages you explore lyric-wise in the album?
Do you know what?
I've got nothing to do with the lyrics. That's one thing I just don't do. So that's
the majority of the lyrics split between Chris and myself. We generally, I'll put some lyrics down and then I'll share them. Craig will put a riff in and it'll just build from there. It all depends on what mood I'm in. If I'm in a good mood, I probably won't write nothing. But if I'm in a bit of a shitter, I'll write loads. Because the lyrics that I've normally write are a lot of them are quite dark and aggressive at times. So if I've had a shit day, just words will just start landing in my head, and I'll think that goes with that rhymes with that, that's relevant to that, and I'll just put like sentences on a page, and then I'll copy and paste them together and move them around, and eventually I'll have like verses, and then I'll think of a chorus, and I'll just put it into like verse 1, verse 2, verse 3, and a chorus, share it. They'll look at the kind of the format of the words and then try and build a riff around it, and then it just seems to we might change the format of the word slightly, so we might shorten the line, lengthen the line, play around with it a little bit until it fits the riff, and then we'll just kind of put everything together and trial it till something works. Then when it works, we just go from there. And if something doesn't work, then you normally jump in and go, not like that. Let's do that instead, and we'll just mess around with it, and it just seems to come together.
Yeah, I'd say the two main lyrical themes are mental health and
Respect.
the madness, the absolute madness of war and conflict. Those are the two main things.
Respect on the mental health. Respect on the mental health. So, what challenges did you face writing this album, if you faced any at all?
I think probably time. Time was a tough one. We all work full time and we only play once a week, and I only get 3 hours a week to play. I don't have anything at home. I haven't got the space at home to practice at home, so the only time that we really had was in the studio. And then there's some weeks if you're like working away or you're working away or I was working away, we couldn't get in every week, and it was just time was tough getting time in the studio to actually put them down. That probably lengthened the process by quite a bit because we weren't there every single week getting things put down.
Yeah, and Chris started a new job, about halfway through the recording process. So, that took up a lot of not just his time, but his focus and getting to grips with a new job. And he had, like Craig said at the start, he works shifts. So, some evenings he just can't be there. And the three of us, we all occasionally travel for work. So between the four of us, time is a difficult thing. What else?
You make it work though. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
You didn't let it slow you down.
Like we all get on that well. Like if we come up with something and then say Craig doesn't like it, or I don't like it, or Dave doesn't like it, or Chris doesn't like it, we don't bitch about it. We get on that well. We can go, do you know what? You're probably right. Let's just try something else. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, we'll try something else. There's no sort of animosity or disagreement. We just respect each other's kind of decisions, and we'll go, do you know what? We'll give it a go. And in most cases, it worked
It was
pretty well.
It was honestly, it was fine. I mean, we did it in 3.5 months. I think if you took it from the first session where we recorded the drums to the time when it went live, it was probably about 3.5 months. And that was recording 5 of the tracks in the first go, mostly. We were only there for 2.5 hours or 2.5, something. So pretty much all of them early takes from him, right? Then the fella who did the recording, he set up like something like a box or Google Share, something with the stem files in, and then we went from there. And then we did 5 songs, got them fairly close, and then we went in and did the other 2 the same way, and that was much easier because we knew what we were doing, with the microphone placement and everything. And then
you did the first song as like the guide, like that was the foundation, and you kind of use that same.
Yeah, in a way.
Yeah, you completed one.
Completed one. So I didn't have to do what I was doing. And first time I'd ever done anything like that. So it was. I've got like, I wouldn't say a studio, but I've got like a little bit of equipment there. And then the other ones. Once we had the first one, the hardest bit was getting the mix, because I'd get something that sounded fine on the computer, and then you'd send it out to someone listening on the phone and say that sounds weak as piss, that. And then I'd make it sound like heavy. But then someone would put on the hi-fi and say, bloody hell, you've just blown my windows out on the hi-fi. And you couldn't get it to sound, if you're not working in a studio with £1 million worth of equipment, it's really difficult to get something which sounds good on a phone, good in a car, nice on a computer, nice on a hi-fi. I mean, that's the bit. I mean, we were going through like version 5, version 6. Drums are a bit too loud, stat symbols too loud.
Not sure I've heard headphones as well, because the majority of the time people are consuming music when they're sat on the bus, train.
That's what we did.
I mean, so.
If you hear this on a hi-fi, it's going to sound a bit, maybe it's overdone in terms of the bass and the drums, but when you hear it on a phone or in your car, it's kind of intentionally mixed for that, a bit more than anything else. Because I'm thinking that
it's a smart move, to be fair.
I think it's who sits and listens to a top of the line high fidelity system compared to how many people stream with AirPods on a box.
Unless you're listening to vinyl, not many.
Yeah, exactly. The quality you get from Spotify, it doesn't matter what you're blasting. The quality's not going to be high quality anyway.
Yeah.
So the majority of the people are listening, like you just said, through their phones, headphones.
I'm pretty proud of it. It's all self done. There was a Sunday afternoon where Dave came around, put his bass lines down, because we had the bass from the studio. But basically we thought, look, the guitarists have got the luxury of doing like 100 takes until we're happy, because we're doing them at home. It's a bit unfair on Dave saying, well, you only had one go in the studio and he's got to live with his, the little imperfections because he was playing live. So we had him round, and it was him, his missus, sitting here watching with the dog. So it was me, my dog, his missus in here. So he's actually stood, you basically stood on the spot. Yeah, weren't you recording your bass? And I'm there with my laptop saying, right, play. And he's playing his bass. I'm saying, right, stop. And then we'd play a little bit. And he only here for about 2 hours. Seriously, only here for 2 hours.
There were a couple like I'd go through and I'd be like, oh, I'm not happy with that. I messed that bit up in the middle or at the end or whatever. We'll do it again. I think one or two of them, it was basically just played through once.
You just played through the month, yeah.
So next.
Yeah. It's probably the most organic album you ever. I mean, I'd be interested in how many albums which aren't actually live albums are played pretty much live. In the sense that the one take we didn't have the time to do any, any dubbing of sections in or anything like that. They were just played and basically lift the file and just like essentially drop the file. I'd on the drum track, so I'd hit play with him, and then he'd record down over the drums. So. And then that was that, and then the guitars would go over the bass, and then the other guitar would go over the other guitar, and then the vocals would go on top, and then a couple of the samples and all of those whatnots, and then the mixing. That was it.
And like I said before about like my vocals, for example, it's probably still not quite perfect, but it's it's 99%, but it's organic and authentic. If you really scrutinise like each individual track, I'm sure you'd find some little imperfections, but not bothered about that.
The same on the guitars, there's squeaks from the strings, there's little bits where the fingering you can hear, it's not quite there, but I'm not bothered. No.
Sound, man.
So there you go. Long answer, but you did ask.
Hey, yes, exactly. It's what it's all about at the end of the day. It's why we do these for us, because we want to find out more about the bands, of course. So thank you very much for that. But how do you feel the album represents the band's sound and direction?
It's perfectly. It's us. I mean, we've just said we're just it's us playing. There's nothing in there. I mean, we were just talking about a track, not name the band, but a track we heard on Spotify that they're not going to play that live. I mean, it's so produced. It sounds absolutely wonderful. There's no way they're playing that live. You go and see them at a local venue, you're not going to hear the same. It'll be impressive, but it's not going to sound like it does.
Right.
Ours is us. If you go and see us live, obviously you've got the effect of the venue there, but
you've also got the age of where people's using laptops and stuff, so they can achieve that live sound, but obviously how much of it is them playing live?
Yeah, exactly. That's my point. I mean, if you go and see us live, we're going to play that album exactly as you're going to hear it on the album. Obviously without the mix being slightly different, the mix being live instead of, with the production, but it's going to sound like that.
Probably a bit faster.
Probably 400 beats per minute, but never mind.
So what are the future plans for Hassium? You've mentioned you're writing a new album. When can we expect a first single of this new album?
Well, I think it's a bit too early. Middle of next year. I was going to say maybe it's late summer next year. We don't want to.
You've got to.
My girlfriend's pregnant, so I'm going to be a dad in January.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
He's taking a bit of time off. We'll write. We'll write. Now we'll give him a couple of days off. We'll write, and then we'll plug him in. Afterwards, I reckon if I had to guess, Easter, middle of next year, something like that. When the first of summer, we've got a habit when we get an idea. A lot of these songs that we've got already were written once the first idea came in. We've had sessions where we've basically written a song in the night, and it's been 95% there, apart from the change of unit.
Just finishing.
But I reckon if you put us in a studio now, we're a couple of weeks in a studio, we'd have a song. Honestly, I mean, the ideas are already, hidden there anyway. But we don't want to rush it. I think the worst thing you can do is just get an album full of filler because you wanted to, point something out. So if we get something done next year, I'll be chuffed.
Are you talking a single or an album?
An album.
Oh, okay.
If we get something done next year, I'll be chuffed. Album.
You asked about single.
Single.
Realistically, singles or albums, so it's just whenever we're going to release something new.
Well, I mean, in this day and age, do you still prefer the traditional album, or do you think singles are the way to go?
Well, we did a few singles at the start just to test the water. And so I wouldn't say no that we probably wouldn't release like one song off it. So say that if we were to pen down another,
that would have been a nice YouTube moment right there.
I think we wouldn't want to go over the top on singles, but if we did get an album kind of set up, there may be one song that we think might be the strongest one, one of the strongest ones to kind of give a bit of a taste.
We'll release a single from the upcoming album.
I think if we did a decent gig, we'll put a single out ahead of the decent gig in order just to say there's a single for the gig, and then we'll play the single at the gig.
We were having a debate earlier this year, weren't we? Before we finalised the decision that we were going to release an album of X number of tracks, there was a bit of a debate, and it was basically like you were saying, like with the majority of people streaming now, you don't have to be confined to albums and stuff anymore. You could just release a song as and when, every couple of months you produce another song, just release it on its own. Because, and this kind of relates to the conversation we were having earlier about albums and kind of defining bands by the album, like an era, like Craig mentioned, Cryptic Writings earlier, Cryptic Writings era Megadeth, stuff like that. And a lot of bands have changed sort of from their first album to their sixth and 10th and what have you. So yeah, we were talking about like the pros and cons of going down one route and going down another. I'm a bit more traditional. I like an album.
I was with him on that. I wanted an album.
And I think the reason we did it, the album, is to say that we did it. So we thought, as a band, we've got a band together. We've done a couple of songs. We've wrote enough. Let's put an album out. We've done it. But now that we've done it, it's like, we quite like this. So now we've done it at once. We're going to keep doing it.
I think if you're old-fashioned, if you're of a certain age, I think there's bands that have got songs and bands that have got albums.
See, I'm kind of in the middle, you see, where I still love albums, singles as well, and EPs. But the way my mind's going at the minute is for bands do so basically do an EP, 4 or 5 songs guaranteed. All 5 of them songs are bangers, straight off the list, and then you'll tour it for a year, and then you'll release another EP the following year, again another 4 or 5 bangers, and then tour it again. Year 3, you'll merge both of those albums, both of those EPs into like a compilation with a special edition, say limited run of CDs, cassettes, if you can, a vinyl run on top of that as well. You know what I mean? And then you've got a guaranteed album all full of bangers.
So we've already got that. I think the plans would be an EP's not a bad show. I think if we've got the 4 songs and then we're struggling, I think there'll be people in the band who are saying, should we just put them out as an EP?
We used to be singles anyway.
We did, yeah. We did.
And that was the point where we're debating, do we continue just with singles or?
I mean, I've also spoken with other bands as well who'll literally they'll just do singles, where so that way because they'll do a single every 6 weeks maybe, and then it shows that they are constantly doing something, especially when it comes to social media. That you know what I mean? So you release an EP or an album, and then that's apart from your gigs, that is all people's going to see on social media from you. Do you know what I mean? They're not going to see anything else because you've released it once. Do you know what I mean? As with I've seen bands where they'll release a song every 6 to maybe 8 weeks, and then it shows that they're doing something.
Yeah, maintains that kind of activity.
Yeah, but you also risk oversaturation as well. So it's finding a right balance, isn't it? Yeah.
I think the problem is with that with us, the way it worked out when we recorded the album, because we're busy. Having the album recorded meant we could get in the studio with them and basically do all the drums in one go. I think if we did singles all the time, we'd have to get recording session. You know what I mean? Rather than like one big recording session. I think that would be a bit messy. I think in other plans,
and that's going to hit you hard in the pocket as well, isn't it?
It's not economical to do it like that.
No.
I think in terms of other plans, we were talking about live things. It would be nice to get a support act. Us as a support act for a decent band, because we're going to get to a point where we're going to play like 4 gigs, 5 gigs, 6 gigs, 7 gigs, and you're looking for what you're going to do next. You just play like an 11th gig, 12th gig, whatever, or would you do something different? So I mean, if somebody rang us up now and said we're playing Trillions or we're playing somewhere decent 5, do you want to support? Well, I'd personally snatch them off of the elbow with that. I think that's the next obvious thing for us to do to get to a bigger audience would be to support somebody, not necessarily Metallica, but you know what I mean? You typically who comes to town, they've got a support act, then they'll see a logo on the bottom, and they'll just get like a little logo band who comes on and just...
Yeah, I hear. He's thought about Metal to the Masses next year?
Mm-hmm.
Have you thought about Metal to the Masses next year? No, not a word. Metal to the Masses. Never heard of it. So Metal to the Masses is basically, it's like a battle of the bands. Takes place in Newcastle. At Trillions. I think registrations are open, so get in there now, guys. So yeah, it takes place at Trillions every couple of weeks. And basically the winner of Newcastle's area, of the Newcastle area, goes and plays Bloodstock Festival.
Bloodstock, huh?
Yeah. I mean, that would be us.
I did not know about that.
No.
Why did you not?
I don't know
Yeah, probably.
Honestly, lads.
I think anybody in Newcastle, it's always been my sort of bucket list thing to say, I'm in a band, I'm playing Trillions.
Well, get on the register. Like I say, that open. Get on it now. Get it signed up. Because he's doing it now. In the middle of an interview, I'm signing up now. But I honestly, lads, get signed up. I mean, just for the exposure alone.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? Because Bloodstock, the promoters, they all share it, so your name's out there immediately. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
you're doing the Get Heavy Fest again. Are you going to do the Get Heavy Fest again?
We are doing Get Heavy Fest again next year. We have expanded from a 1-day to a 2-day event. 16th and 17th of August. We've got We Call the Remains headline on Saturday, and Dog Tired, who are celebrating 20 years of metal on the Sunday. So yes, we are in the process of we're looking for 2 bands still on Sunday and 1 for Saturday.
I might know one that might be interested in joining the bill if you have them.
All right. Anyone in particular? Anyone in mind?
I'm not sure what that name is, but the guy mispronounced it once. I think they call Hassium.
Never heard of them.
Heard of them.
Sound a bit shite. Mate, you are already on our list for bands that we are keeping tabs on, because we've got a massive database of bands who are very, very interested in, and we've had over 100 applications from bands. Trying to narrow it down to 16 is been a fucking stressful task, believe me. It's absolutely insane because the amount of bands like ourselves, there's so much great unheard talent out there. It's just because of the oversaturations, people don't get to see it. So yeah, man, like I say, you are on our list of database for bands for keeping tabs on. It's just a case where me and Sean can get together and go through all the applications, etc., and work out where we go. Yeah. But we have got an idea. I can't give too much away, but we have got a good idea, which it's going to give basically putting it in the hands of other people to decide. But I'll touch on that after we're not recording.
I agree with that.
Real.
So carrying on though, how do you envision the band's evolution and growth in the coming years?
I think just keep doing what we enjoy doing. We enjoy it, so we're just going to keep doing what we enjoy.
Yeah, basically, and we'll like Craig said earlier with when we were talking about the second album, kind of making a point of not just replicating the first one.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll basically continue that. We'll be true to ourselves, musically and lyrically and stuff, but at the same time trying to be creative and experimental. Do you know what I mean? So same types of themes or any other themes that we feel are that we feel strongly about. But yeah,
we'll see where the ideas come. I mean, already we're sharing enough material for 2 or 3 songs for the next album already. Yeah,
we'll just delve into stuff and we'll just make noises, and if the noises sound good, we'll roll with them.
Yeah.
If we all like them, then we'll just build on it.
Mm-hmm.
We'll just keep doing it for as long as we enjoy doing it, which for me is going to be a long time. So
nice. Nice. And what are the long-term goals for the band?
World domination.
You'd be surprised how many people say that.
No, that's it. Yeah. The first, how Metallica were the first, were they the first band or the first metal band to play on all 7 continents? The first band to play on all 7 continents. We should be the first band to play on the moon.
First band to play at all 7 districts in Newcastle.
yeah. That's probably more realistic.
Honest answer, I've already achieved in this more than I thought I would. I started off just arsing about. We've made a little bit of money. We've done some stuff up in the sites. So we've made a little bit of money. We've played live. We've sold some T-shirts. You see some people walking around in T-shirts. I didn't think I would do that. So the rest of it for me is just whatever it is. I haven't got any. I'm not going to come in here. I want to be working. We've all got jobs.
There's no disappointment.
We've all got jobs. We've all got jobs that we're far more successful in the jobs than we are in the band. The band's
it's not a profession.
Yeah, exactly. So
if we happen to come out with some absolute bangers that the world loves and will become famous, then okay, fine. Realistically, I'm not expecting that to happen. At the end of the day, it's something we enjoy doing. And if all we do is we play half a dozen gigs a year.
It's been quite nice on Spotify because you can see when you get the stats where people have heard you. And it's been Malaysia, Argentina, Albania, South Africa. My 4 lads from Newcastle, that's pretty cool. Right?
Yeah.
I hear everything that you've just said. I'm exactly the same. I work myself 48-hour weeks, do you know what I mean? This isn't my full-time thing. This is simply just to keep me busy outside of my work life for my own mental health sake, and to give back to bands like yourselves who give me something endless. You know what I mean? For the past 25 to 30 years, just giving me just endless music to listen to, enjoy. You know what I mean? So it's just giving back to people like yourselves. So appreciate that, man. So a couple of quick fire questions for you guys. What's your go-to guilty pleasure songs?
Ooh. I don't think I have. You know what? I'm not gonna lie. I like a little bit of blues sometimes. Like not that type of blue, man. You daft get.
The band blue.
Aye.
That's
But you know what it is,
that's
right?
what I do exactly.
Sometimes if I'm in the car and me car play goes off and the radio kicks in, what are the blues? And then there's like some pop songs on the radio. Just
I'm not singing on here.
oh, right. Okay, but like I am a metalhead. I love metal. Metal is my primary thing. But we all know when like you're on your own, no one's there. You'll always sing some daft shit. Give over, man. You're a Backstreet Boy.
Didn't listen to them, Colin. I'm an S Club 7, mate.
Do you know any drummers leading band?
No, didn't listen to them, Colin. Didn't listen to them. I'm an S Club 7 man myself.
Next. I bet yours is off.
No, do you know what? I was asked a very similar question several years ago, and the answer hasn't changed. I don't feel like I have a guilty pleasure because everything I listen to loudly and proudly. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a shit what people think of me.
Mine's jazz. I like John Coltrane, Miles Davis, like 1960s jazz. If I'm travelling to work, I'll not put metal on or something like that.
I like pop, like a bit of rap as well.
Pop, like I fucking love like Take On Me's like when we go to karaoke songs.
Just diss blue. How can you diss blue and then go? You're like, give over, lad.
Right, everyone. I think we've just saw the demise of Hassium.
This is what it's like all the time. Them two, but I'm a bit the same. Not really. I wouldn't say guilty pleasures, but stuff that I wouldn't like. But
Damn, thanks, darling. I don't know. Do you know what it is? I like all music. If I like the sound of it, I'll listen to it. If I don't like the sound of it, I won't. So like rap is not my go-to, but sometimes you hear stuff and you go, do you know what? I like that.
How about yours, then?
Me? I've just said before. I didn't mind rocking a bit of fucking S Club 7, mate. Like, reach for the stars.
Yes.
Yeah. Gotta reach for them stars, mate. No, to be fair, as was said before, I've been doing this for 3 years, live on Twitch as well, and every stream that we do, we end on S Club 7, Reach for the Stars. We've kind of made it the Get Heavy UK anthem. The very first Get Heavy festival, I don't know if you heard of a little band called Cast and Tefra. They did a deathcore version of that song with only an hour's practice, by the way. And then we had Killanova at this year's festival, who did a thrash version of that same song. So
we could do
Yeah.
So we need to try and figure out what we're going to do for 25.
Banger boys.
What's the next question? You said you had a couple of...
I did, yes. If you could collaborate with any musician, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
On a song, actually collaborate and make music with.
Yeah. Whether it be on a song or just live on stage, who would it be?
I reckon for me it would be somebody from probably Tool or something like that, just for the creativity. In the same sort of genre, so not something completely different, but I've always admired them because I never thought they were the same as other bands. You know, the time signatures and the weirdness is the right word, but yeah, that would be my dream kind of jam. Would be Tool. I'm probably the world's biggest Metallica fan, but I think we're so close to them in sound that would be just like us playing with somebody who sounded exactly like us. And that sounds a bit arrogant, but then playing somebody like them. But Tool for me, I think.
Anybody else?
I wouldn't say collaborate, but I wouldn't mind seeing Avenged Sevenfold play live again with the Rev behind the drums. So I think Avenged Sevenfold, kind of the Rev era, was the best era for that band. And I did get to see him live, but then I've seen them when they had Mike Portnoy did a bit with them. didn't really feel it. It was too, it felt too commercial, too much. But if I could go back and see Avenged with the Rev again, that would be mine.
Would you not want to collaborate with them, like the song?
No.
I can't think of anyone.
What if Avenged asked you to replace on drums?
Huh?
I would do that.
No? There you go. So that would be your collaboration.
They get their hands warmed up because they're playing them songs in 1 minute.
Then they might turn around and say, "That's why we didn't accept lefties."
Nobody asked.
What about yourself, Dave?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm too indecisive a person for this. Yeah, good question.
I'm going to answer your question for you because I know what you always say.
Okay.
It'd be Barrett. It'd be who sang? Is it Heart?
Barracuda.
Oh, yeah.
You always when you're warming up your vocals, you always go for Barracuda. So I'm gonna say Heart for him because he sings Barracuda every time we're in the studio when he's trying to get his,
Festivals in the
Keep it together.
Yeah.
Hi.
So I'm gonna answer because you'll honestly be here all night.
Oh, yeah.
If you could only listen to one album for the rest of your lives, what would it be?
Papa Roach, Infest.
I thought you were going to say
that was my first kind of new metal / metal album, and that got me into the genre. So I'd go with the OG.
It would be the Black Album by Metallica. I could write the lyrics down on a sheet of paper now. I could play the songs on guitar off by heart. Probably listen to that every couple of days since I was 18.
Nice.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say One by Hassium.
Yeah. How about you?
I think probably one of. Actually. No, I was going to say.
This is a quick fire question.
Yeah, no. I would say Imagineering by Nightwish. Nightwish, Imagineering, good album.
Nice. For myself, if you're interested, would be Slipknot Iowa because I'm a massive Slipknot fan.
Yeah, that one. No, that one.
No, nothing.
One, yeah, scrap Papa Roach. It'll be Iowa. Yeah.
Oh, and you're not. Slipknot, man, fucking classic. The Get Heavy UK community would absolutely tear me apart if I do not ask this question. What's your Greg's orders, lads?
Funny enough, we eat them in the studio because the Gateshead studio basically get free Greg's for the kids. We play after like a youth group and there's a donation from Greg's who bring them.
Nice.
So if the greedy little bastards haven't eaten them all, we get some. It's a mince pie, but we never get them. So it's a sausage roll for me.
So sometimes there's nothing left of the Greg stuff. Or if we're at Downcast.
Well, if you're going to Greg's yourself.
So what I do is I start picking some stuff up, bringing them for the lads, just in case there's not a sound room. So for me, a vegan sausage roll or two.
Nice.
My answer is very simple. If it isn't Christmas, sausage, bean and cheese melt. If it is Christmas, festive bake.
I was just about to say, who's gone for the festive bake? Because they're back now, like.
You have to get two because the first one's nice, but the second one just makes sure. Yeah.
Happy days.
The fifth. I think the fifth. And
then not advertising Greg's,
and then the vegan.
I need to make them a sponsor, mate, to be honest with you. I've been tried, but they keep.
Business?
I used to love the Cornish pasties, and then they stopped making them. You know, the original Cornish pasties that I used to get.
Right.
The chunky ones. Yeah, no, the non-chunky ones. They used to do flat ones. That was yeah, there you go. There you go.
Right. So if your band was a superhero team, what would your superpowers be and the team name?
What do you mean, like a sports team or something?
Right, not like something like the Avengers.
The Avengers and all that. I don't know. Okay. What's that?
Why me? If I was a superhero, I would like to fly.
Flying would be cool.
Yep.
What would it called though?
I would like this might sound kind of I don't know, like
It will.
like sinister or something. But actually, I don't intend it in a bad way. I would like to be able to influence or even control people's thoughts, like influence their minds. Right?
Yeah.
No, but what I would do is this. Now I'm kind of going to go the other way. I'm probably going to sound like a fucking hippie or something. I would use that influence to end or environmental destruction, stuff like that.
I think you top Mr. Hippie, are you?
What you guys getting emotional after hearing him talk? I mean, I just don't really.
See, the reason why I chose fly before he spoke is so when he starts speaking, I can just fuck off and fly away.
I like it. Anything for yourself, Craig?
No.
No?
No. I'm going to plead the fifth on that one. I've got an out for that. So, you got any other questions?
Sorry, mate.
Cheeses or something like that.
Actually, what do you think Chris's superpower would be? Oh, it would be something to do with transport, maybe flying as well, so that he doesn't have to drive ever again.
You know what went in my head when you said that? We haven't given him anywhere near enough grief because he's not here. We could have really griefed him, couldn't we? We could have
missed opportunity, yeah, like.
We could have planned him on the internet, couldn't we?
What was still got?
Chris's superpower? I don't know.
Teleportation?
Teleportation, yeah.
Teleportation.
Like Rent a Ghost.
Driving.
Like Rent a Ghost in the 80s. If you could say to Chris, you could just do that Rent a Ghost thing and just go like, and then appear, and I'm showing the age, and then appear somewhere, you would do that. There you go.
Missed opportunity, yeah, like.
Or something like that,
yeah.
Or when I eventually go bald, we'll all have no hair. We'll all be bald, so we could be the foreskin heads.
The
thing is, you should be bald now because that's done. That mate.
It's glued on.
It's glued on. Yeah.
I was gonna say, mate. I'm also gonna say now. I was trying to be nice, Dave, but yeah, I can say it. Just embrace it. I'm there as well. You know what I mean? So you might as well just embrace it.
I've been gradually going shorter and shorter. I mean, I used to have hair down here.
Thing is, the thinner he gets,
those were the days.
The hair gets, the thicker his beard's starting to get. So he's kind of
almost looks like a man.
Almost.
So final one then, guys. In all year, whether you've been to gigs, playing live, what's been the funniest thing you've ever witnessed in a live show? Or embarrassing moment, if you want to out yourselves.
I once got the only time I've been knocked out in my life was seeing Napalm Death, right? The fella in front of us wanted to go on the stage and he was doing this, like in order to give him a bunk up.
Right.
I did this and he jumped and did a backflip and kicked him in the chin. As he went over, I'm sure that's embarrassing, but I was knocked clean out. The only time I've ever, because he just flipped up and you had the Dr. Martens on that.
Did he check on you?
No, I woke up outside. I was in the marquee in London, and the only thing I remember is being given Lucozade.
Right.
That's probably the last time I drank Lucozade because the taste just was off after that because I felt sick.
Okay.
I remember Chris's. Did he slipped on his set list that was on the stage? Is that right? He told us this. We wasn't on our list. He told us the story. Do you remember it?
No.
He slipped on the set list that was on the stage. Like in the middle of like a guitar solo.
Yeah.
Was it something like 3 days? We had like 4 minutes lying up. We couldn't stand up. Fucking,
Chris as well once got kicked out the Metro Centre because he was playing in a youth band. They played Rage Against the Machine. They played Killing in the Name. So basically, this I can't remember what it was, but it was some kind of like.
Didn't like the Christmas number one.
Do you know the middle of the Metro Centre where all the things put together? You've got that sort of like a round bit in the middle that had basically kids' bands on. And he turned up with his mates at the time and they played Killing the Name of, and of course the end of it, fuck you, I won't do it. Tell me they basically got kicked out. They got like the punk. I think they got a plug pulled.
Yeah. I got punched in the face in the mosh pit by the drummer from the Gallows. Remember the band The Gallows?
Yeah.
They opened up for Bullet and somebody else. It was like Relentless Tour, like 2006 or something. And when they come off, he came into the mosh pit, and I wasn't really watching. I was like watching the band, and then someone just twatted me in the face, and it was him.
It's Frank Carter, isn't it? Is that what it is?
I don't know his name.
Yeah, I don't know why Frank Carter comes to mind. I don't know if that's the same guy.
Yeah, he punched me in the face and it knocked out my diamond earring. That's the embarrassing side of it. I wore a diamond earring to a friggin' metal concert. What a knob.
I remember.
Quick's face just said it all there, like, to be fair.
I think anything's happened to me, but a couple of things I've witnessed. One was you. Oh, when we went to see a funeral for a friend, and we were stood back from the mosh pit. But Colin doesn't really fucking follow the rules. So he started fucking jumping about and pushing a couple of people. There was a guy stood right next to him though with a couple of pints. Nearly fucking knocked this fella over. I remember watching this fella, and he was like, "How fucking are you doing over there?" And Colin just looked at him, like kind of shrugged and looked away, and so he was like, "How man?" and then gestured at his pints. Colin just went, I can see ya, and then just looked back at the band, and I thought, fucking hell, man.
To be fair though, don't go in a fucking mosh pit with pints.
We were a bit back from the mosh pit.
Right. I know, but it's a mosh pit. It's not like you stay in a perfect area. They move around.
One of the funniest things I saw was at Reels in Bradford in the 90s, watching, I think it was Biohazard or somebody, and there must have been about 30 people there, in basically 2 rows at the front. And this lad got up on stage, doing all this, and then stage dived over everybody. I'm standing at the front and just went like that. He's like lying on the ground, getting himself up, like all the beer on the ground and everything.
He chose to fly as well.
Just basically jumped over everybody.
I remember when I went to see Skindred 5 years ago. Fucking brilliant band. I went to see them down Middlesbrough, and there was this like a sandwich. I can't remember what it was, but that's not really important. A sandwich. And basically Benji, he said, "Oh, I've got a challenge for you. Does anyone want to eat this sandwich in under 30 seconds? And you'll get a free ticket for download next year. You'll come and see us playing a download." They didn't play a download the following year. But you get a free ticket. If anyone, so someone volunteered, and he's like, no bother. So he fucking gave me the sandwich, and it was just absolutely fucking pathetic. Everyone was like cheering him on. I was too far away to see what was going on. I was like, oh my god, is he going to do it? Is he going to manage it? Is he going to get it down? Oh yeah, fucking no.
That's good stuff. Somebody ate song. Good stuff.
What sort of song was it? Did you ask him?
I can't tell you. It's 5 years ago.
Nobody asked.
Can you tell us that one again? I'll just say that again.
Well, I'll record it for you and I'll send it in. It was funny when you were there. I realised as I was telling the story, it doesn't sound as funny.
Well, I wasn't there, so it's not that funny, is it?
It was one of those you had to be there things.
I wouldn't have been there.
It was funny.
There you go.
But a little funny story. For when I saw Skindred at Bloodstock a few years back, you know how they do the Newport helicopter. So normally Benji tells everyone the Newport helicopter. Benji tells them to take off that tops, start spinning the tops around in the air. This one lass obviously didn't take her top off. Next thing, she just pulls out a fucking double-ended dildo with her bag. Just fucking starts swinging this around, and I'm fucking getting battered with this fucking dildo. I was like, fuck, what's this going on here? But she's doing the Newport helicopter with this fucking dildo, and I was like, Jesus Christ. But yeah, that was my little funny story for Skindred.
Thanks.
It wasn't better than yours,
I think the first story I told was better. But that's the thing with the Skindred gig. There wasn't any sort of one massive thing that stood out. There was just loads of just dance.
To be fair though, it was a Bloodstock festival, and God knows what she was on. You know what I mean? It's a music festival. At the end of the day, probably under the influence of God knows what. But yeah, it's a good time, man. So guys, before we do call it an evening, anything that you wish to plug before we call it?
Your album. If you listen, you won't be disappointed.
Where can we find the album?
Everywhere.
It's on and all streaming platforms.
Hassium NCL.
Spotify.
It's not physical. We haven't got physical versions done yet. but it's on everywhere. You'd find on YouTube Music. It's like Deezer, all those kind of things.
Spotify, the logger. So we have a Facebook page as well.
So if you are watching this back, make sure you search Hassium NCL on Spotify, YouTube, etc. to find that album titled One.
Stands for, it's abbreviated for Newcastle. Just saying.
Oh shit, is that what it means?
Yep.
Thanks, mate.
Please, you shared that with us.
You're welcome.
Yeah, well done, mate.
Yes, no. Good.
I did before you did.
Not particularly. I'm not much of a knob.
Thanks for your time, Steve.
No worries, man. Well, before any apart from the show that's coming up on the 30th, what have we got gig-wise afterwards?
Nothing
in the gig.
Just follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and when we know, you'll know.
And
pretty much the way it's going to be, you know.
As and when, if we decide to go down the route of getting the album, on vinyl or anything like that, that'll be posted there. If we have a new single out, a new album coming out, that'll be on there. Gigs coming up and stuff like that.
And for any possible promoters who do watch this or listen to this back, where can they contact the band for any possible gigs?
I think Facebook's the best, because the Facebook was me and Dave, so we're pretty, well, we're on it quite regularly. We're pretty responsive, so if anyone wants to get in touch, we'll have a big chat with them.
And
this is the publicity department here for anybody. Not this one, right? These two.
Our email address is hassiumband@gmail.com.
Champion, I was just about to ask that. And what social medias? Facebook, Instagram, anywhere else?
At the minute, no. We delved in TikTok, but I think we're a bit too old for that.
It's for bands.
To be honest with you, I'm on TikTok and I'm contemplating coming off because there's just so much fake
It's just shit,
bullshit.
It's full of shit.
It's just, honestly, it's just...
Facebook?
Yeah.
Is it worse than Facebook?
But just fake news and stuff like that, yeah. It's just absolutely horrendous.
Jump on Facebook, we're pretty live on it.
But it's, to be fair, you're opening a new can of worms altogether, just talking about social media in general.
Go Facebook. We're not really that.
You've got Facebook, the link for Instagram's on there, the link to YouTube's on there, so you'll find everything like the course for Facebook.
There's a YouTube channel as well, which has got some live material. I need to put the little buildings gig stuff on as well.
Yeah,
so that's good.
Because that just Hassium NCL as well.
Hassium
on YouTube, yeah.
It is up.
Is it Hassium NCL? Okay.
Cool. So go check out the YouTube channel as well. All links will be in the description, of course, of this YouTube and Spotify edition. So, guys, thank you very much for your time. It's been absolutely great chatting to yourselves. I will see you live and in person on the 30th at Downcast, because our friends in Leviathan who are playing at Get Heavy Festival 2025 will be there. And we absolutely love catching.
It won't be, they've pulled out. They're not playing on Saturday.
Yeah,
they're not playing.
No, they're not.
Two of them are
illnesses, so they've had to withdraw.
So who else? So I know Last Bastion's on there.
Incantus as well.
Incantus as well, so it's just the 3 years.
And what's likely going to happen is Incantus have said that they can extend their set by a little bit. I imagine Last Bastion will stretch theirs by a little bit, and then we've got a few tricks up our sleeve just to make ours last a bit longer.
There we go.
One of the tricks being Colin not playing them like Napalm Death speed. So if he plays them at normal speed, that'll put about 20 minutes on our set. Yeah.
I'll come do with me. I'll come do with me triangle.
Oh, brilliant!
Oh, there you go. Thanks very much.
You can do a stage
like Bez from the Happy Mondays. You can
I'm the surprise. Anyway, so I'm going to leave you with this, guys. The rules of the pit are the rules for life. When someone falls, pick them up.